Alright fellas, welcome back to another one. Casket's Fab Shop, video number 12 of the Monte Carlo. We're up here in Casket Customs today, once again. For you that have just joined my channel, thank you and I appreciate for the new subscribers that I've gotten. And thank you for watching my videos. So, we just wrapped up video number 11, which I thought I was going to get a lot further, but just shit happens. So now we're on video number 12. Struggle, guys. I've been doing this alone in here, and sometimes it's just hard doing it by yourself, but whatever, I'll make it happen. And down to the end of it, I guess it's just gonna be me, whatever. I don't really give a fuck. So anyways, with that being said, guys, we're off to video number 12, and I'm here on this Monte Carlo. Been having issues with the freaking doors. They just ain't right, but I figured out why. I was able to do and make a happy medium on this car, and I think it's going to be alright. You know, it has to be, because, you know what I mean, this ain't the Riddler, and, you know, unless you want to dump 40 racks in this thing, then that's what it was going to cost. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, guys, all the work I did to this thing was tremendous. It ended up being a very big mess with that whole rotted lip, the pieces that I had to shave, all the thin metal that was just oil canning on this entire fender or quarter. That's why it had so much extensive bodywork. I finally got through that. Of course, these doors at the beginning had a lot of rot front. Same thing with the front of the fender was rotted out, and then the front marker lights were also shaved. So there's been, you know, it's not extensive, but it is a lot of metal fabrication on this car, just on panels itself. So the hood, of course, if you guys have been following my channel, the hood was twisted. It was a mess. It was lifted up. It was twisted. The owner told me the car was not wrecked, but it was ramped. So it's the same thing. But I guess it Dukes a hazard at some point of its life. And he told me that the frame had been twisted and that they pulled it out. When I started messing with everything seemed to line up pretty decent where I could fix it. Well, I did all the metal work. I got everything to line up. I got everything on the car originally except the hood, because I was like, I'm gonna deal with a hood last. That bit me in the ass, because I should have just done the hood right away and lined it up right off the bat, and then sent the panels off to get finalized. So the issue that I've had is the fact that I did not line this hood up right away and tweak it right off the bat in the metalworking phase, and it bit me in the ass. Not only that, is after I did all the metal work on the fenders and all that stuff, one fender still needed some metal work to do, and I wish I would have just done it right away. And I wish that I would have skimmed them and blocked them first, you know, right off the bat before I sent them to Vince, so he could have done the body work on them, and it would have been a lot easier and quicker. But it didn't work out like that. So we got the panels back, and they needed a lot of work. They needed extensive work. So both doors were not right. They had a huge dent in each side. I had to go back, re-block them, re-skim them, fix them, got them all right. Fenders themselves were really shitty. So even with the mud work that they did, I had to block them down. One fender they did a really good job on, but the one that had the big dent in it, was not good. It had a big bulge in it that needed a lot of hours of metal finishing. I should say metal finishing, metal shrinking, a lot of stuff. So yeah, I had to go back and redo the fender, which took me, I want to say I almost had 8 hours in it, to be honest with you. And that was 6 hours one day and 2 hours the next, and it's still not done. I still need to block it. But I still like I said, I need to block both of these fenders out and make sure that they're paint ready. The doors, for the most part, are pretty much ready to go. I have them in 320, but I want to block them one more time in 600, which I'm going to do the whole car. So here we are in video 12. That is the story on this car. But what I was getting at with the whole frame being twisted and finding the happy medium is on the passenger side. So let me show you what I got going on here. First of all, take a look at these gaps. If I was, getting the top dollar, I would have split this and moved this over and made these gaps perfect, right? Well, the gaps are clean, they're straight, they're consistent. But right here in this little bend, of course, they get a little weird. They get a little wonky. They're a little wide, but that's where I'm getting at. This door would have had absolutely no problem if this car wasn't ramped. But the frame underneath has some welding to it where you can see they pulled and pushed and spliced and diced. So, yeah, that's why I struggled with this stupid door, because all that cutting is right there at the freaking where the door and the quarter meet. So that line is what's gonna happen. I am not gonna go back and metal finish this line. That is clean, it lines up, it's flat, it just has a little bit of a big gap on the top. The bottom gap could be maybe a little hair in this way, but you can't do that. There's a reason why. Look at this. This door is pulled as far as I can get it forward without honing out the holes to slide it further forward. Well, it doesn't exactly line up completely flush with the rocker. So that's another issue. I fought with this door for almost 3 days. And this fender itself too has been a very big mess, because all these gaps are fairly consistent. And as you get up top, look at that. Yeah. So it makes no sense. It makes zero sense. It's bottomed out there, but up here, the more you push it to close this gap or push it closer, which you can't, or even if you pull the door closer, the fender has this little tiny pee-wee gap. And the only way to fix this pee-wee gap is to cut it and move it. And I'm not going to do that. I'm already way overboard on this. Way overboard. So that's the issue, guys, about, doing work like this, is that I've learned a huge lesson. This is a few times this has happened to me. And that is, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're doing body work for someone at home and you give them a price, well, you know what? You're stuck with that shit. So from now on, I will give a price. But if I find extra shit, that's going to be said and agreed upon beforehand. If not, get your shit out of my fucking shop. Because there's things that you find on these cars that they know about, but they ain't going to tell you. And then all of a sudden, you're stuck doing it. So, I like the guy that I'm building these cars for. The owner of the car, I don't know him, but the guy that brings me the cars, I should say, it's his uncle. And, I've done a few cars already for him, and then I'm also doing a few more for this guy's buddy. So, I have a good thing going with them, and I'm not going to worry about it. We'll make it right on the next one, because the next one's probably going to need some work too. But to do this, without being in an actual shop, but sometimes you lose your ass, and sometimes you just do it because you love doing it, but it sucks, especially when you're losing hours. That's my fault. That's totally my fault. But it is what it is. I do this as a hobby. I'm not a business. You know, I do this to get better at what I do. I do this to support my own car habits, which obviously ain't working out too well. I have a bunch of cars that don't fucking run, but whatever. I'll get there. So anyway, guys, that's the issue I had with this car on the passenger side. I knew it was ramped at one time. He told me, but when they brought it to me, everything kind of looked pretty good. Where I was like, oh yeah, I could fix this. Well, it bit me in the ass down the road because I should have done a little bit more metal work on those doors, which I'm saying I could do it now. I mean, I can cut that fender, cut that door, make it perfect, and be on the way. But I am so over hourly and everything on this car right now, it's not worth it to me to do it because that gap and everything is clean. It all lines up good enough, and you can't look at both sides at the same time. And you know what? For what I did this for, you know what? That's what you're gonna get. You know, you want to get a complete perfect car. You know what I mean? Then shit better start doubling. But let me show you the driver's side, guys. You know, I don't like to really talk about all this kind of stuff, but for you guys out there that are doing this in your garages, for yourself or whatever, you know, even if you're gonna help someone out or do something for somebody like this, you know, or you're learning, you know, that is the things that you gotta look for. Because I've lost my ass in here a lot. But at the same time, I think about it, it's knowledge to me. Even though I've lost, I'm not losing money physically. I mean, coming out of my pocket, but I'm losing time. And time is money when you're building something like this because, you know, whether you charge 75, 100, you know, $50 an hour, whatever you decide to charge, you know, at the end of the day, I just quit counting hours because when you get involved in this stuff, sometimes you don't even want to see how far over you went. The next build that I do for this guy, I'm going to take it and tackle it completely different. I'm going to take it on and tackle it as a one-man team like I've always done it and start a certain way. I'll explain that later. But for right now, I'm going to show you the difference between that door and this door. Before I do that, let me give you guys a rundown one more time on the door. Alright, as you can tell, look at the gap. I mean, it's not horribly bad, but it needs to be about a 1/16 in. But the bottom half doesn't look too shabby. The bottom's all the way across is good. This gap is not too bad, but it is big. I mean, it needs to come in a hair, but not much. This gap is okay. It's this right here I don't care for. But that's the way this fender is going to line up. Because of that frame or whatever happened, I don't know. But here we go. Now you'll see the difference in real life. You know, well, not real life, but close enough. So these are always wonky on this bend anyways, correct, right? But look at the top. It's not bad. It widens out on that bend. It's just the way these doors were built originally. But look at this gap. It's about the same as that side. But up here on the other side, from here to here, is bigger. From here to here is bigger. And it just looks weird in this little section right there. It's just a section of it. But I'm not going to mess with it right now. This is fine. You know, this fender, on the other hand, I need to figure something out with it because look at this door. This door reaches the front of the cowl. And it has a good gap in the back. So it's weird. It's like that cowl got stretched on that side or something. I don't know. But here, this fender on the bottom, I need to move it slightly forward, which is going to give me a little gap on the bottom there, which that fender doesn't have. So this is going to have to find a happy medium as well. But look at this. That's consistent with this. So now this door actually, I mean maybe, just maybe, Yeah, it does need to go up just a little bit right there. I'll bet you that fixes that. So I'm going to pop this fender off again, and I'm going to jack this door up just a little bit because it is sagging slightly, almost a 1/16 of an inch. I guarantee it, when I level that off, this gap will open on the bottom here a little bit. That gap will close slightly, and so will this, because this is tight. It starts getting tight right about mid-door. So from here down, this will twist, and that should be a happy medium there somewhere. And if we got to tweak the fender slightly, we can, but I don't want to make it too bad where this fender's not bottomed out to that rocker like that side. The only difference that you're going to notice on this car, if you pay attention to it, the only thing is this gap on that fender is going to be tighter, and this gap on that door on the other side, passenger door, is going to be a little bit bigger on the top. Other than that, guys, I think we're good to go. So the reason why I don't want to fix it is because we've already jammed it. That was a mistake of mine, like I said, by not completely doing what I was going to do first, because when I sent these parts off, I told Vince to jam them, and he did. And now I gotta cut shit, so I ain't gonna do it. I don't want to have to mess with it right now, so it's gonna be where it's gonna be. Not every car is perfect unless you want it to be that way. It counts hourly, guys. Everything on these cars takes time, a lot of time. It's very hard, stressful. If you know what you're doing, it's not that the work is hard, it's just time consuming. It takes time to line things up and to get things completely right, and not only that, to put it back together the same way. So sometimes with these cars, if I can get them done in like a 6-month time frame, I don't get stressed out. When I start going over that 6 months and I start losing my ass, yeah, I get stressed out for many reasons. Because for one, this car's been sitting in my garage for 7 months and it's not done. And I have my cars I want to work on, and I still got to start all over again on my own stuff. So 7 months down the road on someone's car, I could have been driving mine. You know, but here we are, guys. I'm not going to complain. You know, I enjoy building these cars. It's just I wish that I could do it after mine are done. That's my fault, but I got to fund my shit somehow, right? I ain't rich, you know, so here it goes. YouTube sure ain't paying me. So, I mean, we'll figure it out, guys. I'm going to work on this fender and try to tweak it a little bit, line it up. Maybe I'll put you on a time lapse since we're early in the video. I don't want to waste too much time talking about all this stuff. But, I mean, just so you guys know that are trying to be out there doing the same thing, if you're in your shop messing with stuff and you decide you want to, you know, do something for someone else, or just so you know for yourself, like, damn, dude, you know, this is how it's going to be. This is what it takes. You know, you're not sitting in there wasting your time. You're gaining knowledge no matter how hard it is. Even if you think you can't do it, it's not rocket science. It just takes time. And once you figure it out, you get better at it. And I'm not perfect. Far from it. I do a lot of this stuff for fun. Camera shut off again, I guess. So anyway, guys, I do this for fun. And it's all a learning experience. Like I say in my description, that I am self-taught and I'm a home garage builder. You know, I started doing this work specifically for one reason. I couldn't afford to keep paying somebody to do work and it sit in their shop for 2 years or longer. I'm not saying anything bad about that, because people that own shops, they got to make their money, and they got to take in more than just your car, you know. And you pay somebody, say, $10,000 to do a job, while in a business situation, even if they're working on your car, that 10 grand ain't going nowhere. You know, they got bills to pay, and most of the time their bills are 3 grand just in their shop payment, plus their own expenses for their houses, their trucks and cars, and their lifestyle. They're in it 6 grand, you know, just to pay bills. And at that, if it's between 2 or 3 of you, 4 of you, what do you got? 3 grand left to pay some workers $1,000 a piece? What do you got in your pocket after you paid your bills? You ain't got shit, you know. And that's not to mention, guys, tools, materials, all kinds of things that you need in your shop. Running the lights and all that shit, dude, it ain't cheap. You gotta pay for all that stuff at your home and at your shop. So, you know, they need to do 2-3 cars, and sometimes, you know, your car sits there for a while, and that's just how it goes. And that's with everybody's shop. Every shop. I'm not saying a specific shop. I've had my car at certain shops that it sat for a few years, and I get it. That's the way it goes. You know, the nice thing is that the guys that I've taken my car to, I'm friends with all my guys that worked on my cars, and I haven't had an issue with none of them. I was happy with the work I got from all my friends. So, you know, I'm good with that. But I do feel for the people out there that don't understand that, because they're sitting there at the door knocking, crying, "Oh, my car's not done. You didn't finish my truck." They don't understand, you know. It's like, if you're gonna complain so much, why don't you get off your ass and do it your damn self? That's what I did. You know, I wanted to learn, so I did learn, and I am learning. And I invest in my own shit, in my own stuff. Only thing is finding good help is hard. That's the hardest problem of this game, is finding help. And you know what? I can't afford to pay somebody a lot of money. I can't. You know what I mean? If I took in big money jobs, then they better do some damn good work. You do half-ass work, you ain't getting freaking paid. You know, because I'm a home builder, bro. I'm not a damn business. And you know what? At this point, if I gotta do this shit myself, I do it myself. I always have any damn way. But at the same time, guys, it's like, when you do it yourself, you earn your street credit, you know. And not only that, is you take pride and joy in what you do. And if you're a perfectionist and you want it done right, and it takes you double the money out of your pocket to get it correctly and do it yourself, the minute you drive out that door, you know that you produce something that all the big dogs go and produce. But it takes them longer because they got a lot of other shit going on in their shops. But if you concentrate on your own shit, which I should take my own goddamn advice, but I'm gonna work on my cars this year. It's gonna happen. But like I said, fellas, I mean, straight out the box, you know, you can do it. It just takes time. And you want to know how I learn? Watching YouTube and watching friends do this, body shops. I'm constantly watching car channels all day long. It don't matter what it is. It's always something that catches on me, and I'm like, damn, you know, when you're working on something, you remember that stuff. And you know what? It helps. Because you're like, man, there's got to be a different way to do this. And then you're like, oh, I could do this. I could do that. There's always there's always more ways. There's always more than one way to skin a cat. I need to get work on this car. Stop yapping. But one thing is the guy that I am doing this car for, he likes to do wiring and engine work. And he's a garage builder like me. And after he puts this car together for his uncle, he's going to take my 40 over to his shop. And he's going to go ahead and do he's gonna finish it. He's gonna finish tuning things for me and all the crap I don't want to do. So my LS, I've never fired it. It's been fired, yes, but I've never ran it with all the stuff I put on it, and it's not been tuned. Everything is wired. It's missing a few little things like a transmission sensor and a drive line, so radiator hoses, things like that. So basically what he's gonna do for me, guys, is I'm gonna pull that car in as soon as this Monte Carlo goes, and I'm gonna bolt everything on solid for him, so it's one car. And then I'm gonna go ahead and probably pop on radiator hoses, you know, bolt the intake manifold on it because it needs that. And I'm gonna put the car in epoxy and kind of rough in the bodywork. That way it's just not sitting in his garage, just in bare metal like it is in mine. And from there, he's gonna go ahead and get it running and driving for me, put all my Dakota digital gauges in it for me, put my air conditioning in it for me, and he's gonna go ahead and put a drive line in it for me. So when I pick it up, the car will be a fully functional running car. I can cruise it down the road with no glass in it, the way it sits. From that point, while he has my 40, I'm gonna go ahead and roll my 32 up here, and we're gonna knock this car out 100% and get it back on the road so we can enjoy this at least by midsummer to the end of the summer. We'll cruise this car, and once we get this car cruising, when that car comes back home, we will go ahead and take the motor out, paint it, paint the firewall, put it all back together, finish off the bodywork, and we're gonna knock that car out. So while he has the car, once I finish his 32, I have all the parts to that 40 in my shed. And what I'm gonna do is pull out the hood, the fenders, the hood sides, body work, all that stuff, paint ready, clean, ready to go. Now, I shouldn't say exactly paint ready because there might be some metal work that needs to be done between those parts and the car itself. But I'm gonna get them as flat as I can, and if I gotta grind down edges and do whatever, we'll fix it after the fact. I don't know how I'm gonna do it yet, but they need to be in epoxy and at least starting some body work. I guess the rough in stage, I should say. After that, guys, we're also gonna throw in the mix my wife's 36, and we're gonna start planishing and metal finishing all the fenders and everything on that car that needs to be fixed, and then we'll rough in that body work. All right, guys, video still number 12. Well, we're still kicking. I decided to do something. All right, this is what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna leave that door gap the way it is, like I said, because I've already had the jams painted and I don't feel like splitting this right now. But I am gonna do this fender. I'm gonna split this fender and widen this gap only because I still need to take it off to fix that door hinge, and I still need to paint the inner side of this fender well. So we're gonna fix that. On the other end, this fender actually looks pretty good. The door needs to go in. I need to push the door in slightly. It pops out top and bottom, and this fender is intact. It's perfect. So I'm gonna take this fender back off now, push this door in just a little bit. Actually, you know what? I might not have to take the fender off. I'm gonna have to take it off anyway, but I'm gonna make sure I get this door pushed in right quick, and then I'm gonna try to put this hood on, which I don't know how I'm gonna do this because I have no goddamn help. I'm gonna try to call one of my buddies, or maybe my neighbor Rick, and see if he's around, and see if he can help me slap this hood on real quick. Damn, it's a little chilly out here. Over here trying to wear shorts because it says it'd be like 80. Well, it ain't gonna be like 80 until like later. It's 65 degrees right now. I mean, it's fresh, but yeah, so that's pretty much where we left off, guys. Also, if you follow me on Instagram, or even of course subscribe to me here on YouTube and watch this video, I started a TikTok. I don't really care for any of this social media stuff too much, but I went ahead and started a TikTok because everybody says that you need to have a TikTok to make your channels grow, blah, 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 blah. Whatever, dude. So, I started one, and you'll see how that goes. I don't really care for more platforms and more junk and more apps and more having to work more. But whatever, we're gonna try it. So follow me. We're gonna try to get this done today, guys. I gotta get some of this stuff wrapped up. I really do. It's just such a slow process right now. But I'm at the end. I really am. I mean, if I can line up that door real quick, we could put this hood on and see where we're at with that hood, because you guys know that hood was freaking tweaked. After we knock that hood out, I'm going to mess with this fender, get that gapped correctly, and then we're going to go ahead and pop the fenders off. And I'm going to do my final block on them. I might even just do my final block while they're still on it. That way I can make sure that these lines are crisp and everything is lined up. Well, maybe we'll do our final block on them now that they're on the car, along with the door. And then final, after the hood and everything, we'll blow the front clip apart. I'll paint everything inside and out, underneath, and then we'll reassemble it for its final time. We'll wet sand it in 600 and we're off to paint. So for right now, guys, I'm going to put this camera down so I can start getting some of this stuff situated. And I'll kick you guys back on here in a little bit with a time lapse. Alright, guys, like I said, this fender had really weird gaps on it. I got every gap to be fairly consistent, except for this top gap of this fender was tight. So tight, there was no other way that I could adjust this fender to maybe even work correctly without shortening it. So I made a splice here. I kicked that inner panel back and welded it back in. It's going to need a little filler on the top because earlier in the game I used a crescent wrench right here to bend this up to match the door, and I put little tiny dents right here, tiny little dings, so I just put a little filler in that. But other than that, the metal work itself came out pretty decent. I do need to probably clean up the inner edge when I take the fender off, and then I need to work out this little edge right here and kind of form it to round it off with the sanding disc to make it exactly straight with this other line. It's kind of a little low, so I may add a little bit of filler and try to get this thing completely straight and flat, but we'll get that worked out today. So short little update on where I'm at. This was the only thing that I was gonna fix. The other fender came out perfect, so we're good. So from here I'm gonna work this out and we're gonna finish doing our blocking on this fender, and then we're gonna jump to the other side and get that fender blocked out, and when they're ready to go, we'll pop them off and we'll spray the inner fender wells and do the final on them. I want to put the hood on real quick, but I ain't got no how, so I gotta figure that out. So let me finish working on this out, and then we're gonna start working to try and get that hood on. that's how you get shit done when you by yourself. So yeah, I made a little contraption with my hoist here and a strap to lift it up, move it back. It's not easy to do by yourself. Good thing this thing ain't painted yet. Definitely when it's painted, I'm gonna have some help, but I just needed it on here so we can get this thing adjusted. So I'm gonna go ahead and see what we got going on. Let me move some of this stuff around and put you guys on a little stand here, and we're gonna go ahead and check this out and see how good this hood lines up. If it even lines up, I don't know. The last time that we had this hood on here, it was twisted bad, like straight up like key sweat, eh? I mean, you can't get any more twisted than that unless you've been drinking all night long. This little, shouldn't say little, this thing, it works good. It's just huge, bro. That's what she said. Heavier. Okay, well, problem number one, hood ain't even. That's why this thing is going so far forward on it. Problem number two, need a damn freaking extendo, ejecto-cito. Damn camera's gonna die. I don't know why my batteries ain't lasting. Just wait till it gets hot and they'll start dying. Huh. These gotta go over. What the hell are those for? Alright guys, it's been one of those days. So I went inside, took a shower, decided to go to bed, lay down, and I'm back out here again. I couldn't sleep. Probably been out here about an hour. Out here in my pajamas and flippy floppies. I've been messing with this hood and I got it. I think I'm good, but it does need minor tweaking and a little bit of metal fabrication just to get some stuff lined up that I didn't anticipate having to do, but I think I got a solution. So first off, you guys already know me. I could not deal with that gap. It drove me nuts. So I split this corner, moved it over, welded it, got this gap consistent. It is not 100% perfect, but it's consistent. So consistent enough to the eye where you're not going to notice it unless you run the actual little metal piece through there. So I'm just telling you, it ain't perfect, but ain't nobody gonna notice. It looks very consistent. Everything lines up flat here and there where I need it to. Issue with the hood. This hood was completely tweaked, twisted, and fucked up. Well, I got it to line up here, but from about right here to the front, this still has that big bulge in it. So what I need to do is I'm either going to make a relief cut inside maybe, or I'm going to just put it on the floor and put pressure on it and see if I can get this little bulge out. Other than that, it lines up flush in the front and it lines up flush in the back. It's just this bulge and it's just on this one side. This side, on the other hand, it has a little bit of a bulge, but the back lines up. What sucks is, see this little belt line? this belt line lines up, which here's another thing. I had to take this fender and pull it out. I had to shim it in the door jamb. So that messed my door. I need to pull the door, just twist the door out just slightly here on this top side. So this will line up, and all this will reline up and go across, which lines up on the other side. The gap itself is not bad at all the way across. It worked out really well, but I do have this bulge. It's not as bad as that side, but it is. That side was the really bad, messed up, twisted side, which we knocked down the front, and I didn't know about the bulge there. There was like a weird bulge there. We fixed that, but over here, I didn't know about that because we never tried to line it up to this hood because it was so, these fenders, it was so bad. We actually tried to find another hood and couldn't find one. We were going to just buy one, and then I said, you know what, I'm just going to fix this one. I'll have all day. So this corner here needs to be pulled down a little bit. So I do need to put some under it and push it down and tweak this front lip just so it sits flush, because it's like it just pops up. And that right there alone helps that bulge a little bit. I don't know if you can even see it, but just by pulling this down to be flush, it makes that bulge completely almost reasonable. It's not going to be completely flat and perfect. I mean, I'm going to try to get it perfect, but this front clip, I'm going to tell you right now, guys, was probably about 1/16 to 1/4 inch off. I mean, it's right in there somewhere. This front fender, I had to shim it forward because of the gapping situation. And so that right there tweaked it over, but that side was really bad, and that's why I'm having a hard time, because this whole car at one point was twisted. So this gap's always been up here, just in this little section right here. The gap's big, and then it mellows out to the normal gap size right here. But once you hit this bend right here, it gets a little bit big. And I wanted to fix it, I really did, but I already sprayed those jams, and I don't want to mess with it anymore. So I decided, because this gap was a little bit bigger than the other side, but that's the way this car is because of the whole twisted situation. So I just decided to fix this because I still have to paint this inner fender, and I still need to do some body work to this and the hood. So I figured I would go ahead and just fix that part right off the bat. But you can't look at two sides at the same time, and it's not noticeable. You know, no cars are perfect. I mean, yes, you can make them perfect by shimming them and lining them up and getting them correct. But this car was wrecked really badly somehow at some point in its life. And it is that far off. So I'm going to call it a night. I can finally sleep knowing that I got this thing in order, because those hinges were not working like that earlier. Come to find out, I ended up putting some grease inside of them, and they work better. One of them was really sticking bad, and I think that was giving me 90% of my problem when I was closing it. It was just sideways, 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 and it wasn't working. And finally, I went in there and just threw some grease and worked it, and that thing just even perfect. I'm done for the night, dude. I'm gonna go to bed. Finally, I feel so much better that I got this thing rolling. I mean, we're getting closer. So basically, I have tomorrow and Wednesday, and I think by the end of Wednesday, before I go back to work, I will have this car completely lined up and ready to go. And maybe next week we can paint this damn thing. I'll have 4 days off. Maybe next week we can wrap everything up at the beginning of the week, get it in here, and I'll shoot it like maybe my last day, go to work for 4 days, and when I come back home, it's done, bro. We'll see. Fingers crossed. I'll catch you guys in the morning. Morning, guys. We're here again. So, another day. I did come back out here last night. Did a little bit more tweaking. And she's good. So, this is where we are. Look at that hood, boys. Look at that hood. I had to make a cut. So remember that gap in the previous video where it was cracked and I welded it? Well, dumbass shouldn't have welded it, because that's why this lump was here still. Where it had cracked and I pushed it back down, well, and welded the crack up, well, yeah. That crack needed to be there. So I opened it back up. Now I'm going to weld it, because now it fits. It fits flush all the way around, both sides. Okay, so I'm hoping that we can get this thing fully wrapped up within the next few days. That way I can somehow get this thing in paint by the end of next week. I'm hoping, guys. I'm hoping. So I guess we're going to go from there. I need to concentrate. I really need to concentrate and get this thing done. So let me wrap this up, get as far as I can get today. Alright, guys, we're probably about 10 minutes later. My welding hat all screwed up here. Freaking weirdo. Whatever. Doors welded up. We added a good little chunk of metal. Now I'm just letting it kind of cool off, but crap. Hold on. I'm tempted to push this door. Take the ground off would be helpful, huh? Alright. So now our gap's going to be way better. I can grind this back now, so I got to add more metal from here to there. Yeah, but the rest of this, we'll be able to grind perfect. Yeah, that's where we are. I'll show you when I'm done. I'm trying not to drag this video out because it's already got a lot of content on it. And I'm trying to keep these videos 30 minutes, guys. I know it's hard to watch a video for an hour. I know I do. Watch other people's videos for an hour. But I don't know if anyone wants to watch my ugly ass for an hour. So, trying to keep these videos 30, 45 minutes, the longest. But sometimes there's so much content, and then you end up going to video 14, 15, 16, whatever. I'll hit you up in a minute. Alright, guys. Well, unfortunately, we are not going to be able to finish off video number 12 with the results I needed. Once again, I ran out of time. Like I said, guys, I'm a one-man show. I've got a full-time job, long hours, shitty hours, and when I come in the shop, I don't get much time. But we are making a lot of progress. So, pretty much where I'm going to leave this one at, this is video 12. I'm hoping that video 13 will be a wrap-up and video 14 will be paint. I'm pretty sure I can make it, guys. I got pretty much 5 days next week to get this thing completely finished. I'm going to show you where I'm leaving off and what we got left. And I'm hoping video 14 will be spray day. If that is the case, we will paint it probably Monday or Tuesday after Easter. Maybe even Easter morning, Sunday. I don't know. But let's check it out. So, what I want to do first, well, let me start off again. Okay, what I would like to do is, you guys already know me. I couldn't deal with the door. It's fixed. All the metal work's done. It lines up. It's got a consistent gap all the way down. I fixed all that. So what does this mean? I got to repaint the inside of this door. So I am going to have to take it off to fix the pin anyways. So I figured, why not? There you go, guys. No more problem. Doesn't it look so much better? Look at that, dude. Way better, bro. Way better. It's funny, like in the video, the gap doesn't look consistent, but you know what it is? It's this plastic tape that I have. The crash wrap gives it a wonky look, but it is directly flush and exactly the same. Same on the fender. I tried to fix this fender as much as possible and to line this door up, and it just would not do it. I don't know what's wrong with it. It has to be the fact that this thing was wrecked at one point. So the alternative was to shorten that fender piece a little bit, about a 1/16, which, yes, it's going to affect this little chrome trim right here. But I'm going to just see if the dude will give me that chrome trim, and I'll shorten it and just repolish it or have it re-chromed. I think they're polished. They're probably stainless. So I'm going to just see if we can shorten it just enough. I don't even know if it's going to matter. It might, but I don't know. We'll see when we get there. But that was my only other option. It was either that or having that tight-ass gap. So, there's other ways around things, guys. You just have to figure it out. But fender is blocked out. I do have a low here and a low here. I just need a very minor skim to it. I'm going to continue to block because I know that there's still more material. I haven't hit metal anywhere. So between this and these Bondo spots that were already here from original, I think I might be able to block this flat spot out. I just need to block more. The doors, this is low, and then of course on these they always lip in. So I'm gonna fix the flushness to this. This was actually pretty good, but right here, panel to panel. So we do have a low right here that I could feel it without even guide coding it, but I did that when I was pushing the hood down. Another thing I was able to fix, guys. Look at that. No more bulge. You're gone. I'm very happy with the way it all turned out. So after I finish all these little imperfections and things that I need to get done, like I said in my earlier in the stages of this video, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reprime these doors, because of course I'm going to probably have to do some panel to panel on this side as well by blocking it after I pull this door out. But I'm going to go ahead and reprime the doors. I'm going to reprime this hood because it's such a big panel anyway. It's only got one stage of primer on it. I think I put 2 coats of epoxy and 2 coats of high build, and then I blocked a lot of it. It's already hitting metal in a few spots, so I am, considering the fact that it's a big panel, I'm going to have to do some more body work to it anyway. I'm going to go ahead and probably put 2 more thick coats of high build on it, and then we'll just do the final blocking with 320-600 on it when I put it back on. But after I reprime the whole car in one shot and everything is together, I have the door fixed, the pin and everything, the inner panel painted. I'm going to go ahead and spray the inside of this fender while that door is off. And then on that side, I might just take that door off and spray that inner fender right away. That way I don't have to take the fender off again. And I'll just put the doors back on, line them back up, and then pretty much it'll be ready to go. We're going to wrap things up with video 12, and I'll see you on video 13. Thank you guys for subscribing. Please like my videos, watch them, share them, follow me, and help me make this channel grow. Every time I get new subscribers and more video watches, I get more pumped up, and you know, it makes me want to keep on hustling. I'm done, guys. I'm tired. I gotta go and do some practice baseball with my kiddo, and I will catch you guys on video 13 of this Monte Carlo. Thank you. Peace.